There is no point in making a decision against the tide of life. The question is how evolution proceeds with the greatest benefit and the least loss. Some of them give you love without giving it anything, and some of them give you pain after you give it everything. Don't be afraid of losing people, but you should fear losing yourself as trying to make everyone happy. Nothing permanent except movement. It is pain and pleasure. When the leaf germinates again, when the flower sprouts, when the fruit ripens. It is erased from memory the blistering of the cold and the raging of the winter. How do we grow old when the sky has this blue, the earth has this greenness, the rose has this aroma, the heart has this amazing ability to love, and the soul has this infinite energy of faith? How do we become bored in this world? Those we love, those we admire, those who love us, and those who admire us. People watch and remember, count gestures and intentions, interpret delusions with delusions, hasten the fulfillment of assumptions, cover up with piety and innocence. Silence is the last attempt to tell them everything they did not understand while we were speaking. He wanted to answer a rough answer that fits the denominator. He wanted to answer a soft answer that fits the denominator. But he fell into silence. Have you seen how a person dreams of happiness when misery awaits his awakening, sarcastically, mocking, and crying his fate with his hard hands? The only criterion in art is which is more beautiful, and in thought which is better. Either the memory is a false deception that creates what has no basis, either the world is changing by force of unforgiving memories. Our happiness and our loved ones today depends on the tears that we shed on their separation tomorrow. I also learned, my Lord, that freedom is the life of the soul, and that heaven itself is indispensable for a person if he loses his freedom. All too often it seems to a weary thinker that the most precious thing in existence boils down to eating an appetite and a beautiful woman. How do people find a magical way to the super rich in an incredible time? Couldn't that happen without perversion? Nothing matters. Even comfort is meaningless, and man has not created anything truer than a farce. Because when a person loses the bright jewel of love, he cannot imagine that he will be happy to find it again. Love has nothing except blind lust, or this perceptive lust, which is the highest of its colors. He received what he desired of love according to what he desired, but lost respect forever. The biggest defeat in my life is to deny me the pleasure of reading after my poor eyesight. Life is a flood of memories poured into a sea of forgetfulness. As for death, it is an established reality. The time of principles has passed, and this is the time of migration. Culture is to know yourself, to know people, to know things and relationships, and as a result, you will behave better in what affects you from the stages of life. Wouldn't it be better to emigrate than get married? Marriage is internal migration. At the beginning of any relationship, feelings appear, and at the end of it, morals appear. The teacher has the greatest profession, as all other professions graduate with him. Democracy is keen on learning. As for authoritarian rule, it is not in its interest to spread science and enlightenment. Revolutions are masterminded, carried out by the brave, and then won over by cowards. All his senses and his body cried except his eyes. Do not panic, as the door may open one day as a greeting to those who go through life with the innocence of children and the ambition of the angels. You can tell if the man is clever by his answers. You can tell if the man is wise from his questions. We inhale corruption with the air. So how do you hope that true hope emerges from the swamp for us? In fact, the magic of women manifests itself as they breathe in trivial talk of pleasure. I already think that people are immoral bastards, and that it is good for them to admit this and base their lives on the pillar of this recognition. Thus, the new moral problem is, how do we ensure the common good and human happiness in a society of villains?